There's a Chinese proverb that says, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The journey for this morning's guest began with a single story. Who is she? You'll meet her coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the new branch of Tidelands Bank off of Highway 17 bypass south in Murrells Inlet. We're focused on the 13th annual Memorial Golf Tournament to benefit the Coastal Samaritan Counseling Center. And we're visiting with its executive director, the Reverend Kathy Heustess. Good morning.
Good morning.
Kathy, do you mind if I call you Kathy or is it Reverend?
No, Kathy's
Kathy's
fine.
okay?
Yes.
You know, it's amazing. And what about this Tidelands Bank and its new bank branch?
It is gorgeous.
You know, just on Monday, we had Bob Hendrick with us celebrating the 25th annual July 4th Boat Parade, which will be held this Friday.
Right.
And, of course, it takes me back to a year ago where you and Bob were with me and Sherry and Donald and Ray at the new branch of Tidelands Bank in Myrtle Beach up on 44th Avenue. It's amazing.
It's a deja vu all over again.
It really is. And, of course, that highlights that theirs is the 25th and that last year we were promoting the 12th annual Memorial Golf Tournament and now the 13th annual Memorial Golf Tournament. I think you said earlier this morning this is the first recognized in the name of Dr. Holmesby Springs.
Right. Right. One of our golf committee members thought it would be very fitting to honor Dr. Springs and name the tournament this year in his memory. Right. And we checked with the Springs family, and they were delighted to do that in his memory. That
is tremendous. Have the Springs been involved with the Coastal Samaritan Counseling Center?
Yes.
Of course, it's at True Blue, which I believe has a good tie-in, in Caledonia.
Yes. John Springs used to be the chair of our board of directors for many, many years. Right. And as a fundraiser for the center, he offered both Caledonia and True Blue to help us raise funds to serve our indigent clients. Wow. And so we've had our golf tournament there. This makes the 13th year. And we alternate between True Blue and Caledonia each year.
That's wonderful.
And Dr. Springs was a friend of the center as well, and he was very concerned about health care, people having access to health care regardless of their incomes. So I think it's very fitting that we name the tournament in honor of him.
That is wonderful, Kathy. How long has the Coastal Samaritan Counseling Center been around?
We're in our 28th year this year.
Is that right?
That's right.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Wow. How long have you served as its executive director?
I'm in my third year as executive director.
Good. Right. And for viewers who may not be familiar with the center, what exactly is the Coastal Samaritan Counseling Center?
Well, the center was started by the Reverend Tom Britton in 1980 in First United Methodist Church. And we exist to serve the mental health needs of the community, to provide affordable mental health care as well as pastoral care and counseling. Mm-hmm. So we serve all clients regardless of their ability to pay.
Mm-hmm. All clients regardless of their ability to pay.
Right.
Go ahead.
They're assigned a fee based on income. So we use an adjusted fee scale based on income. We don't want anyone to be turned down that can't afford it. So they pay what they can when they come in for services.
That's tremendous. And this is for all ages of persons who may need counseling?
It is. It's for individuals, for children, for adolescents, for couples, families, anyone who needs services.
Really? You mean, and if finances are truly a problem for them, you all will find a way?
We do. We do. But that's why we need to do fundraising.
Yes, clearly. What are some of the other ways that you all go about raising funds? Obviously, the golf tournament, this is an annual event, clearly. Are there other events during the year?
We are supported by nearly 20 area church congregations and faith congregations in the community. Mm-hmm. Some of them put us in their missions budget. Right. We also seek grant sources, and we're a United Way agency as well.
Yes. Oh, that's great. Tomorrow, Woody Ford will be with us, who's one of their active board members who'll be on the show tomorrow. We'll have to check with them to make sure they're staying active with I know they're very supportive of many, many groups. I believe 39. Right. So there's a lot that has to be raised to help support y'all. That is fantastic. Mm-hmm. When we hear the words pastoral counseling, is it as simple as there is a faith-based connection, or is it something more than that?
Being a Samaritan Center, we are faith-friendly, and so we encourage people to use the resources of their particular faith tradition in the counseling relationship. We're not there to force faith on anyone, but if you come to the counseling center with a particular faith orientation, we like to integrate that into the services. So
that's wonderful, yes. And I saw, I think, in y'all's mission statement, a Judeo-Christian faith-based support. So
that's how the center started out,
right.
But really we're even broader than that. There are people that come that have no particular faith orientation,
right.
or even outside of the Judeo-Christian traditions, and we're really there to serve the mental health needs of someone regardless.
That's wonderful. How long have you been a reverend, Kathy?
Since I think 1996 or something like that.
Really? A little more than a decade.
Yeah.
And do you pastor a particular church in the area, or are you available to pastor?
No, I'm a full-time pastoral counselor, so
okay.
I'm assigned to the counseling center
right.
by the bishop of the United Methodist Church, and that's considered my church, so to speak.
That is tremendous. Well, we had a Methodist minister on with us, golly, about 3 weeks ago, and we were filming at Myrtle Beach Lighting, whose wife is a Methodist minister. And of course, they used to travel around the state, I believe he said, every few years
right.
or so, maybe
right.
3 years or something interesting. Scott Middleton, who is the
right.
Head of Agape Senior,
right.
or founded Agape Senior up in Columbia, and they've expanded down to this area. And he said his wife had recently been called back into the ministry because of some shortages in certain areas, which
right.
is fascinating.
And well, my husband is a Methodist minister as well.
Is that now?
So,
do you all have to travel around?
Well, we have.
Yeah.
I've been married over 20 years, and we have traveled all over the state of South Carolina and going where he's been assigned.
Right.
But this time he came for me down to the coast.
Yeah.
So he's trying to orient his calling around my position right now.
Within a couple of county area, or within
right.
at least, that's tremendous.
Right.
That is great. If a viewer needs to get off to work now or get family out of the house, is there a good phone number for someone to call to
yes.
learn about, or do you all have a website?
We do. Our phone number is 448
right.
4820.
Right.
And our website is www.coastalsamaritan.org.
Okay. Tremendous. 448-4820 or coastalsamaritan.org.
Right.
That's wonderful. How are the counselors trained, Kathy? And maybe just share with viewers a little bit about the counselors.
Well, we are accredited by the Samaritan Institute, and one of the accreditation standards of that is that all of our counselors have a master's degree in respective disciplines, whether that is in counseling or marriage and family therapy or social work or pastoral counseling.
Right.
And all of them are licensed by the state of South Carolina in their respective disciplines. And some of them actually have specialized training to be able to integrate the theological piece or the faith piece in with the counseling piece.
That's wonderful. I believe back in November we were filming up at Collector's Cafe, and Dr. Remington, Jim Remington, was with us, who
yes.
was a fascinating guest. It seems like there was a focus there maybe on death. Does he have some involvement, or is involvement of supporting folks through maybe murder or some terrible
right.
affliction that has impacted a family?
The trauma of being a victim of crime, like murder or other serious crimes.
Right.
He had a support group for a while for folks that have experienced that.
Right. Of course, everything is confidential.
Absolutely.
Anyone who would be coming to Coastal Samaritan Counseling Center, everything is confidential.
We're a healthcare organization like other healthcare organizations, and we have to abide by the HIPAA laws, and so all that information is strictly confidential, and it will not be released unless you give permission to.
That's wonderful. How long does counseling normally take? Does it depend on person to person, or as you go through some of the questions, you've got some very good-looking brochures, and of course it highlights counseling with a difference, which is wonderful, and I bet that's a great, but one of the questions in there was, how long does it take?
That really varies a lot. Some people may come 1, 2, or 3 times, and that's all they need. The typical one is probably 8 to 12 sessions, but then we've got people that have actually been coming for about 2 years. So it just depends on the issue that you're dealing with and some of the life events that happen over time, and it just varies a lot from person to person.
And you all were chartered by, you said, the Samaritan Institute, or is that the correct way to say chartered or help?
We're affiliated.
Affiliated, right, yes. When you think about that affiliation, is there a prerequisite that any doctors or medical doctors on staff, any psychiatrists
Yes. The Samaritan Institute was started in the 1970s by a seminary professor and a physician and 2 pastors.
Okay.
And it was an attempt on their part to get the faith community and the healthcare community involved with each other. Mm-hmm. And that has grown to a network of over 95 centers around the country and even in Japan. And there are accreditation standards, one of which is that we involve the medical community in the mental health care. And so we regularly consult with and correspond with medical doctors and psychiatrists in the care of persons. It's a holistic approach.
That's tremendous. So there is, for folks who may need a little more than therapy, potentially some medical care.
Right.
There is the ability to interface with somebody even if they're not right there in the building with you all.
Right. Samaritan ministry is about holistic ministry.
That's wonderful.
Caring for the whole person and their needs.
For a viewer who may want to pop by or have a chance to get in there, do you encourage people to come by? Do you all have a physical location that they would want to visit, or is it better to just call?
It's better to call for an appointment.
Okay.
But we do have, our central office is located inside First United Methodist Church.
Okay.
And we have several satellite offices as well.
I saw that on the back, 5 convenient locations.
I think we have 6 now.
Oh,
actually.
wow. Forgive me. I'm looking at an old brochure, I guess.
We're expanding. I'll name those.
Yeah.
Trinity United Methodist Church in Conway.
Okay, great.
Little River United Methodist Church in Little River.
There we go.
Ocean Drive Presbyterian Church in North Myrtle Beach.
That must be new, yes.
Fairly.
That wasn't on here, right.
St. Paul's Waccamaw United Methodist Church in Litchfield, Pawleys Island. Mm-hmm. And we have the newest location is Celebration Presbyterian Church in Carolina Forest.
Okay, well, these have changed a little bit. There had been another one there, but now Celebration Presbyterian, which is a great congregation. My daughter and I went there for one of their big celebration days, a big kids' day, which was wonderful over there. But you said the main office is at First United Methodist Church. For viewers who may not have been there before, that's across from the former pavilion or the pavilion parking garage. Yeah.
Right.
Easy location to...
right in the heart of Myrtle Beach.
Right in the heart of downtown Myrtle Beach. That is wonderful, Candy. What first got you interested in pastoral counseling? Is this something from a long way back? Had you planned on being a minister prior to actually even thinking about pastoral counseling? Or did one precede the other?
I didn't plan on being a minister at all.
Oh, come on. Tell us the truth.
No, that was not my plan. That was God's plan, I guess.
Yes, yes.
But I was a social work major, and I'd always had, it really goes back to childhood. When I was in Sunday school, there was a story about the Good Samaritan, and that story really touched me, the man on the side of the road and helping him. And so I became a social work major, and then I decided that God was calling me, so I went to seminary. And then it just seemed the right integration to care for people, and to fully care for people, you've also got to care for their spiritual needs as well. So it just kind of evolved into a real integration of caring for the whole person.
That's wonderful. Golly. So it was as early back as hearing about the Good Samaritan.
As a 6-year-old.
As a 6-year-old? So you began to have thoughts of that even that early?
Well, I don't know about conscious thoughts,
Right.
but the seeds were planted, and so it just evolved from there.
Mm-hmm. Is there a particular focus, as we said, that Dr. Remington had at that time a support group for folks? Is there a particular focus that you specialize in, and do each of your counselors have? I think you mentioned earlier you could serve virtually anybody.
Right. I think each counselor sort of has an area they like to work in. I know I got my start in working with addictions. I did
all types of addictions.
All types of addictions, but primarily chemical dependency. Mm-hmm. So I had a certification in working with alcohol and drug addicts. But that has evolved over time, and I do a lot of work with women in particular.
Women in particular.
Mm-hmm. But really, I'm kind of a generalist. I see all folks for all different reasons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So.
And for parents who may be wondering about, for instance, if their child, if they would be comfortable in a counseling environment, are there certain techniques that have to be used in dealing with children? I think about some parents wondering, is it just me, or is it something going on in my child's life? Can I turn to a counseling center or a therapist for some help for my child?
We do have a couple of counselors that like to see children and have experience in seeing children. And you always see children in the context of family, so it's not just about identifying the child as the patient or the client, but it's the child's significant people in their life, caregivers, parents, whoever is providing direct care for the child.
Right.
So it's a matter of family as well as therapy for the child.
That's wonderful. That's a very good point. So a lot of parents, no matter if they think it's them or they think it's their child, they're still going to be involved in the therapy.
Right. There's an interaction between the two.
That's tremendous. That's tremendous. Well, of course, our big focus is the tournament, and we're getting close. The date?
July 26th.
Okay.
The last Saturday in July.
Great, great.
We have a 12:30 lunch.
12:30 lunch, okay.
Right, and then shotguns start after lunch.
And you've got golfers of all levels of experience.
Yes.
When you're playing at a fancy course like True Blue or Caledonia.
The object of the day is to have fun.
Right.
And so we have serious golfers, and we have golfers who just like to golf for fun, and they have a great time. We have a lot of donated prizes, and we sell raffle tickets, and they come in from being on the course, and they win a lot of things, and they have a great time.
That's a pretty high-profile event. Are there any sponsorship opportunities still available, or any
Absolutely.
teams?
We always need whole sponsors. Those are $200.
Okay.
And you'll have your advertisement on the tee itself,
right,
on the green itself. And we have corporate sponsors as well, and those are $600.
$600. That's reasonable. That's tremendous. What would that entail?
Well, we have a huge banner at the tournament if you're a corporate sponsor.
Right.
And then the teams, we're given a break. It's $100 per player, but $350 per team.
Okay.
So if you send a foursome, you get a little bit of a financial break.
That's great. That's great. Absolutely. $350 per team.
Right.
And that is, folks would need to be there. Well, could they sign up as late as that day, or do they really need to go ahead and call now or fill out a
really,
form?
we,
I think
we
I saw
usually,
this tremendous form here with the Dr. H.B. Springs Jr. on
right.
the cover there. I don't know if viewers can see that very well, but there's a great shot of that. Would they need to fill out this form and put the different players on here?
Yes, and they can download that off our website too.
Okay, coastalsamaritan.org.
Right, and if they want, they can call and we can mail it to them. We typically fill up, though, because those are two very good, popular courses.
Yes.
And so usually the week before the tournament, we're just about full.
Right.
So it would be good if they went ahead and got their reservation in.
Yes, well, they got about 3 weeks to get that done, but they need to call the office, and if no one's there, they can just leave a message. Okay, great. Or go online, and then would they want to just fax it in
we can
after
do that.
they filled this out? That's great.
And we accept credit cards over the phone. So.
Okay. Oh, good. Great. Do you all actually take donations online? If there's ever somebody who can't make the tournament, let's say on July 26th, but want to support the Coastal Samaritan Counseling Center, is there a way to make donations online, or do they need to
We
pay?
don't have that capability
Okay.
yet, but we are going to.
Right.
That is in
Right.
our future, to be able to accept donations online, but we can accept donations over the phone.
That's wonderful. We will ask Woody tomorrow if folks could make a donation United Way and spearhead
Right.
them just to
Designated for
the
us.
Coastal Samaritan Counseling Center, which would be a great thing. I'm sure the United Way probably has that capability. You know, when you think for you, Kathy, and all the counselors there, are you all out volunteering that day, or is that really a...
We are.
Is that right?
We have most of the staff and the board there volunteering.
Good, good. How do y'all go about selecting a board? Is that selected by the counselors, or is that selected by the folks who founded this years ago? How is the board set up?
We have availed ourselves to the resources of SCANPO, the South Carolina Association of Nonprofit Organizations.
Yeah, we love that group.
And we have actually formed a board development committee, and that it is that committee's responsibility to identify the needs of the organization and then actually intentionally select board members that can match those needs of the organization. So that's how we recruit a lot of board members.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Is there ever a need for more counselors? If there are viewers in the area that may have a counseling background, are you ever seeking out more counselors?
We have been in a growth spurt lately where
Sure.
we have added counselors primarily to try to develop the satellite offices.
Right.
Because it's best if the counselor lives in that region,
by.
right, in that community, and helps develop the satellite. So we're always open to good counselors.
And all of these satellite offices are located in a church.
Right.
So there is that opportunity to be able to work with the church on hours.
Right.
To try to schedule hours that would work in
right.
tandem with the church themselves. That's wonderful. So you are seeking those out. And some of the, I know we talked about some of the qualifications they might have. Are there certain areas that you're seeking counselors where you may not have skill sets? I know you said everyone can be very generalized, but are there certain areas that a viewer who may have familiarity with, as you said, addictions,
right.
for instance? Or
not specifically. We really do need counselors who are generalists, who can see a variety of issues, variety of ages. That's primarily what we look for. But if they do have a specialty, then that's just kind of an added bonus.
Yes, yes. Now, well, you, of course, as a volunteer that day and as helping to put it on, you will not be golfing, I guess, Kathy.
No, I'm not a golfer, except for putt-putt golf.
Good, yes, yes. Miniature golf is easy
right.
street for virtually everybody, but the real thing is
right.
kind of tough out there. Over the course of the years, they've probably had a lot of special activities going on. I think I see here on the back of the brochure new opportunities this year, silent
right.
auction items from gifts for the golfer.
Right.
A hole-in-one sponsor, Addie's Harbor Dodge.
Right.
You've got a big new hole-in-one sponsor. Any other big things that will be happening for the first time for viewers who may have been?
We're excited about that. We have a contact with Gifts for the Golfer, and there will be a silent auction with particular golf memorabilia for the serious golfer who likes to have collectibles and that kind of thing. And, of course, we'll have a minimum price on that, and then they will bid for that, and that will just go to help the organization provide indigent care. And we're grateful to Mike Addy at Addie's Harbor Dodge for providing a hole-in-one vehicle.
Is that right?
Right.
Fantastic.
So,
any other sponsors at this point that you want to put a shout out to, or to highlight any of the other folks, or are you still, obviously you're continuing to line more sponsors up between now and the tournament? We
kind of have a core group of loyal sponsors from year to year, and they're with us every year, but we can always use more because our services are expanding and the economy has hit people hard, and so we're seeing more folks who have less money to pay for services. So we can use all the help we can get.
You really need donations. You really need donations. That is fantastic. I mean, that's a real need. It's important to be able to get the word out about that.
Yes.
Because clearly to help, obviously y'all are at some level volunteering your time even as counselors because there's because clearly if a potential patient does not have the needs, you all have to make that determination if you can do it. That's a big deal. We've just got a minute. And you think for you, Kathy, what continues to keep you focused and supporting this tremendous ministry? It's almost like a ministry, even though it is clearly. What do you think continues to? Is it the old idea of the Good Samaritan interfacing with good social work?
Well, it's amazing to me, the human spirit, the kind of suffering and the vulnerabilities that people have when they come in, and yet we try to provide them with a sense of hope. I'd like to think of ourselves as brokers of hope, where we continue to encourage them and offer care for them when they're facing life's difficulties. It's a tremendous privilege to do that.
I bet that is, and as you pointed out, with the economic climate being as it is, that really gets folks into depths of despair.
Right.
I'm sure that's very important. Thanks so much for being with us this morning, Kathy. I'm sorry we've run out of time.
Okay.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with the Executive Director, Kathy Heustess, with Coastal Samaritan Counseling Center, coming up next. Almost every year, the last 12 years, this event sells out. You need to give them a call. It's the 13th annual Dr. Holmes B. Springs Jr. Memorial Golf Tournament to benefit the Coastal Samaritan Counseling Center. Take the time to pick up the phone and give them a call, or go online to print out an application, fill out your teams. Even if you can't put an entire team together, you can sign up, just come out there by yourself. They will put you in with a team. They'll fill you in. 843-448-4820, 843-448-4820. What about the opportunity to play True Blue? Or next year, Caledonia, or the following year, True Blue, going back and forth. A tremendous one. We're talking about Saturday, July 26th. The lunch at 12:30 included in your $100 player charge, or the $350 if you've got three buddies and you want to get out there. $350 a team. Or you can go online, coastalsamaritan.org, to print out that application. coastalsamaritan.org. Shotgun start at right after the lunch at 12:30. Take the time to get involved in this tremendous mission statement. Listen to this just real quick. Coastal Samaritan Counseling Center is a church-supported, nonprofit, Judeo-Christian ministry of healing whose goal is to strengthen individuals, couples, and families through faith-based counseling, educational programs, clergy consultations, and faith community collaborations. They're making a difference every day, and clearly the affordable nature, the opportunity to be involved there at Coastal Samaritan Counseling Center is something that Kathy and all of their dedicated counselors are working towards. Reverend Kathy Heustess, thanks so much for being with us this morning. Good luck at the tournament on July 25th.